Hey, let's talk about Air Force history, the U.S. Air Force history. It came from the U.S. Army Air Corp. Initially, they made the pilot wear a horse fur to fly airplane. But there's something interesting that is relevant to today's war with Iran. You know that the U.S. has superiority and is surrounding Iran. And there are talks about how the U.S. naval fleets are at risk being so close to Iran. It's not really demonstrated, so we don't really know. But let's just talk about the history of military advances and how each transitions looks. So from flying horses to flying airplane, the army didn't really grasp the difference. Making pilot wear horse fur is kind of ridiculous. Just imagine yourself wearing horse fur driving a car. It doesn't work well. And during the advent of the airplane, a lot of the military elite, the old guys, the old dinosaur that refuses to die, they don't believe in airplane. So they had like a demonstration where I think it was like 1920s. This guy Nero, he flew an airplane and dropped a bomb on one of the U.S. Was it a carrier destroyer? So the he dropped 1,000 pound bomb on a carrier and sink it in 3 minutes. And then they believe him. In 2014 or 2010, the U.S. was, facing a similar situation. The Air Force were not really believing in the drone warfare, but it takes a few years. But they adopted the drones doctrine a bit faster than the Army adopted airplane. And now with the new war coming and new player having a difficulty with the U.S. Advantages, they don't have a choice but to develop a countermeasure to the U.S. forces. So China already demonstrated it has the weapons to deal with the U.S. carrier. Iran said it does, but we haven't seen it. But, the longer this war drag out, the more definite the solution is going to materialize. Even if they don't have a carrier destroyer or a solution to sink the U.S. carrier today, they're going to have one tomorrow because they don't have a choice on this matter. Necessity. So the U.S. is still hang on to the carrier. It haven't really shifted away from it, but no other nation in the world is really focused on carrier. They focus on mobility and precision strike, lower cost. The U.S. have been focused on the doctrine of infinite money printing, and that doesn't seem to work anymore. So when you can no longer print infinite money, costs become a bigger constraint. But for the U.S. Army and the U.S. Air Force to go from infinite money printing to saving like an Asian, I don't know how they're gonna do it. So my guess is they're not going to do it because they don't know how. Case in point was in 2020. We have this global pandemic that really knocked everyone on their ass. I'm an Asian. I came to US after I was 9. I'm used to suffering. So when the suffering, is necessary, I could deal with it. I could move in with a bunch of people and save money. But what I try to help other American friends, but they have this culture where they need a lot of space, and they're not gonna move in and share a small quarter. So their adjustment is not going to be well adapted for this situation where money is tight. The military specifically wouldn't know how to be a military without infinite money. The special operation in MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida. In 2014, researchers found out that they were effective, but that's only 2,000 people. But they're gonna make it bigger. So the bigger they make them, the less effective they're gonna be. So in general, the military, the Army, the Air Force, they would not know how to run their military with a fraction of the current budget. And since the economy is going to shit, decoupling, and everyone's fighting against the U.S., this infinite money is not working. So we're gonna see the military struggling to keep its operation when it could not finance its operation. And throughout history, I think we could see this. This is not the first time it happens, but right now we're living in it. And I am an American, and I'm feeling like I need a better leadership. I feel like I need a better set of management because the current one, they just gonna sink just like the Titanic. The U.S. carrier, instead of retiring gracefully, I think they're gonna be retired at the bottom of the enemy's ocean. And there goes the projection of force, and there goes the heritage of dominance. The carrier being sunk is going to be worth more than any defeat, like Vietnam War, because Vietnam War is kind of vague. The defeat is like you could deny it, but a carrier being sunk and going down to the bottom of the ocean, that's gonna be like obvious. Everyone's gonna see it. So maybe they're gonna pull the carrier back home and retire them. I don't know, but every day that they sit there is another day that they're going to face the possibility of being sunk. Anyway, I'm kind of morbid in this sense too. It's like, well, no one can imagine a U.S. carrier being sunk, so the fact that it's so impossible makes me want to really to see it happen because it's kind of like a statistical miracle or statistical wonder. But on the flip side, I know that if I'm forced to find a solution to sink those carrier, I'm gonna find that solution. And the Iranian is going to have to find a solution, and if they cannot, the Russian would just give it to them. The Chinese would just give it to them. Uh, so let's see how long this will take and how many carrier we're gonna see at the bottom of the ocean. And I cannot wait to see like a new era where this white supremacy has no place in any country. I want to see a war where there is no country for white supremacy. They're gonna have to be wiped out. The U.S. Either have to clean its own house or someone else will clean its house for them. And hopefully, the U.S. will be able to set its own house in order instead of waiting for other people to set them in order for them.